Hi there, Marina. So it looks like we have your last essays today. Very exciting to see this. Let's see what you had to say about this topic today. Okay, it's green energy, and this is an interesting one. Do they reduce costs and are better for the environment, or are they a serious threat to energy security? Let's see what you said. Okay, today's use of environmentally friendly power sources, such as solar cells or windmills, is getting power sources use. Okay, yes, is getting more important than ever before. Many people think they are beneficial, while others say they have tremendous problems with energy security. In my opinion, I believe that the advantages can definitely outweigh the disadvantages. This essay will discuss both points of view and argue with examples from the World Health Organization and Harvard University. All right, so far so good. I have no problems with this introduction, so it's lovely. Good. So in our modern society, we need a lot of energy to work and master daily situations. Therefore, it is necessary to get a constant power source. Not just IT branches. IT branches need a great amount of power. But even hospitals do not function. Well, you know what? I want you to really be careful with these double negatives. Do not function without it. So you're basically saying that even hospitals need it to function. All right, we typically try to avoid a double negative like this. So what's the first thing I did? I tried to use inversion here. All right, so I said not only do IT branches need a great amount of power, but even hospitals need it to function, because the risks for patients would be enormous if there were no constant power source. Okay, I had to change the tense of that. A recent study from Harvard University illustrated that hospitals in capital cities, for instance London, utilize almost 30% of the whole energy from the city. Wow. Therefore, it is enormously necessary to have and keep a powerful energy source. I don't think you can grade necessary. So I don't think you needed the word enormously, okay? So on the other hand, to work with green energy power sources can be a long time solution. I don't know what you mean here. Are you trying to say it can be a long-term solution? So how about this? Why don't we say, on the other hand, working with green power sources can be a long-term solution and safe for our environment against massive pollution. All right, I think that's what you're trying to say. To utilize natural sources, you know what? I know we can use the full infinitive like this, but sometimes I really think that in these cases, the gerund is better. So you could have said utilizing natural sources can reduce the rising temperature and slow down climate change without the. Okay, right here. A survey conducted by WHO in 2017 depicts that green energy sources pollute the environment with around 2%, while other non-green energy sources had a rate of 45%. As a consequence, to create a healthier atmosphere in nature, it is better to use those techniques. Okay, in conclusion, the usage of environmentally ALLY here, friendly power is highly discussed and can show positive and negative aspects. I strongly believe, no comma here, that green energy is more advantageous than the use of usual power sources. It is predicted that our environment will suffer without the B from tremendous pollution if we do not overthink. Overthink has a bad meaning. So you want to say if we don't reflect on our actions, or if we don't deeply consider our actions, something like this would have been better. Now, my big issue, Marina, with this essay today is the development of the question. So, you're supposed to discuss two views about, the first one is that these energy sources reduce costs and are better for the environment. Okay, so here, reduce costs, so basically they can reduce costs and are better for the environment. So, all right, yeah, I mean, it's okay, but I did want a little better development of this issue. Let's see, you didn't talk about the price at all, about reducing, yeah, you didn't. You could have talked a little bit about how these are cost effective as well and how they're a good money saving device as well. Okay, so that was missing for me here. Let's see. Okay, and then there was something I wanted to mention here. So are they a serious threat to energy security? Where did you talk about energy security here? Anywhere? I mean, I didn't really pick up on it. It's like you were just talking about the pros of these solutions and the cons of these solutions, but that's not what it has asked you. Let's see. Risk for patients if there are no constant power. Whoops, sorry, I don't know what I keep pressing here. Hold on, let me fix that. All right, there we go. I don't know. All right, you know what? I think my problem is that you didn't mention green energy anywhere and why people might think that it's a serious threat. So in other words, you talked about the need for cities to have a powerful energy source, but you never really talked about why green energy would potentially fall flat. So that for me was missing. So essentially you wrote a nice essay, but it's missing some key features that it absolutely needs in order to get a good score. So the thing I just mentioned here about the paragraphs is this would probably keep you from getting a higher score in task response, okay? So that's that about that essay. Let's go to the second one. Okay, now I'm one of those rare people who likes maps, but especially for IELTS, but let's see how you did with this one. All right, so the maps illustrate the development of an island before and after building infrastructure, not an infrastructure, but building infrastructure for tourism. The island is approximately 250 meters long. Let's see. Okay, fair enough. And surrounded by the sea. In the west are located, not they, in the west are located 6 small lodges for tourists to the right of the beach. So what are you referring to here? On the right hand, over the hotel. On the right hand. Right hand. Is this a hotel? Okay, so as you can see from my struggle here, it's a little awkward. So let's say instead, in the west are located 6 small homes, basically, or bungalows, you could have said, for tourists to the right of the beach in close proximity to a huge hotel complex in the narrowest part of the island. Okay, fine. There are also 8 accommodations constructed in a circle to the east of the hotel, I would have said here. That was one way you could have said it. Not almost parallel to the hotel, but, you know, just something different like I already said. Yeah, just, there are 8 accommodations, or there are 8 buildings for accommodation. Built in a circle, located to the east of the hotel. Okay, that's another way you could have done this. On the right-hand side, slightly over the hotel, lies a restaurant and a perpendicular shopping center. Okay, each building is surrounded by pedestrian walks and roads. Okay, I feel like I'm missing some information here. How do you know there's a shopping center here? Okay. Whereas tourists can arrive. All right, so every building is surrounded with pedestrian or by pedestrian walks and roads where tourists can arrive on the pier that I don't know why you're saying this. Why is the pier relevant? Why do I keep doing this? Hold on. Okay. Let's see. This is still a little confusing for me. Whereas the tourists can arrive on the pier. Oh no. Every building is surrounded by pedestrian walks and roads, while tourists can arrive at the pier or on the pier that is situated in the south and passes through the marina. That works for me. They also created, D here, a lake completely separate, no D, in the more rural area in the east. I wouldn't have said rurally kept. In the more rural area, you're pretty much fine. Or in the less developed, because we don't know necessarily that it's rural, but you could just say in the less developed part of the island. Overall, there is an unambiguous change throughout the whole area of the island, while the northwest virtually remained steady and until, let's see, the northwest. I don't see that. I see, if anything, the northeast is the same because of those trees. I would say, no, I would not agree with you in your overview. I'd be interested to see how you respond. Like, why did you say what you said? Okay, you can write that in an email and just explain why, so maybe I can look at it a little differently as well. However, on the whole, these are nice essays. You did a good attempt for sure. You made a good attempt, sorry. So just now correct the essays. Use the error. Don't forget the error correction list. Send everything back to us in the next 24 hours or so. Okay, we'll be here. We'll be waiting. So lots of luck with your writing.